This is numbers for the unemployment insurance in the state of Utah from June 21st through June 27th. Just a couple quick numbers to recap. For this week, we received about 5,000 unemployment claims. That is actually up for the last 2 weeks, but not up a lot. In fact, over the last 2 weeks, it's maintained within about 150 claims of each other. So it is plateauing at a very high number. For some context, 5,000 claims is about the peak, the amount of claims that we have ever received during the Great Recession and during the federal shutdown. So 5,000 is still, it's clear this pandemic is impacting a lot of people. But also for some context, the peak during this pandemic was 33,000 claims in a week, so it is down from that number. Another number that is important to know is the continued claims, the weekly claims. That's how many people are continuing to ask for the benefit. That number has gone down for 7 consecutive weeks, but still remains high at about 84,000 people. So it's clear this pandemic is impacting a lot of people still with unemployment in Utah. And the unemployment insurance to date has paid out $905 million in unemployment benefits to those that have been found eligible. Keep in mind, about 68% of those funds are federal funds from the CARES Act, and about 32% come from the state trust fund. And also, to date, we've received about 234,000 claims. And then finally, just on a couple positive notes, we have been tracking how many people are eligible for the benefit, and for 2 consecutive weeks have not requested that benefit. And that number was 5,600. So it is a higher number than people that are applying, and that's why that continued claims goes down. In addition, last week we were able to talk about a virtual job fair offered by the Department of Workforce Services. That happened on June 30th, and there were nearly 70 employers with about 1,100 job seekers that we were able to connect virtually, where we see during this pandemic some industries are growing and are able to expand while some industries continue to struggle. What we need to do is connect the job seekers that are working in industries that may be struggling to these other industries that seem to be doing well and are hiring. And we hope that this number continues to trend down on the continued claims, especially with the $600 stimulus only being available for 4 more weeks. And with that, we'll go ahead and take any questions. Okay, so the question is, does the Department of Workforce Services have unemployment data when it comes to females versus males, as there are some reports that females have been hit harder in unemployment due to the pandemic? And so I actually ran that. We got this question early, and so I ran some of the data. And what we're seeing right now, since March 15th, I ran all of the data. It's about 50-50. So about 50% of the unemployed claimants are male, and about 50% are female. That is slightly up from what we saw in 2019. In 2019, we saw about a 60-40 split, 60% male and 40% female. So it is showing an increase, but it is about a 50-50% split. Okay, so the question is, with 5,000 people continuing to apply for benefits, is there concern with the solvency of the trust fund? And to provide a little bit of background there, remember the unemployment insurance program is a tax paid for by Utah employers. And so every employer has to report their wages to the unemployment insurance division every quarter. With those wages, we calculate a tax owed. They pay that tax, and that tax is deposited into the state unemployment trust fund. And that trust fund can only be used for unemployment benefits. And so prior to the pandemic, there was a marker, an indicator of how healthy was each state's trust fund. How long could it last during difficult economic times? And what it did is it calculated how long it believed the state of Utah could last. And it looked at the historically high claim volume, and how long could it pay out at that rate without collecting any more taxes. And prior to this pandemic, Utah's was ranked the 7th healthiest in the nation and was going to last about 18 months. So right now we are on month 4 with the unemployment insurance benefit really being impacted. And so we're not concerned about the solvency of the trust fund this year, but we do monitor and try to, 5,000 is a high number to maintain. I think we were hopeful that just as fast, different than a recession, individuals were going to, just as fast as they came on unemployment insurance, as the restrictions were lifted and maybe this pandemic started to subside, people would be able to return to work just as quickly as they came on. But we've seen, obviously, an increase in COVID-19 cases, continuing to slow the economy, potentially providing some concern to people who would be purchasing in the economy, slowing that economic growth. And so we continue to monitor it, but we're not concerned about the trust fund solvency this year. Do keep in mind that we have paid out $905 million in benefits, but 68% of that is from the Federal CARES Act. The Federal CARES Act provided the pandemic unemployment assistance, those that were self-employed. It provided a $600 stimulus benefit to those individuals that were eligible for any unemployment program. And it also provides a 13-week fully federally funded 13-week extended benefit. All of those are fully federally funded and do not come from the state trust fund. So while we continue to monitor it, we're not concerned about it going insolvent this year. We do want to, again, reemphasize, because I did say this earlier, but hopefully for those that didn't get it, the $600 a stimulus, we do not know the staying power of the $600 stimulus. We don't know how many individuals are getting comfortable with the $600 benefit and are having difficulty returning to work because they have a full replacement wage found in unemployment. And so we don't know what will happen when that $600 goes away in 4 weeks. What we do know will happen is the 84,000 people that are continuing to file claims are going to see a 60% reduction in their unemployment benefit. And the stability found in unemployment will be lost. And that's why we're encouraging, there are opportunities for individuals who are unemployed today. It may not be in the industry that you're trained in, that you have worked in, that you're familiar with, but maybe there are some industries that are going to really struggle coming back, not only this summer, but into the fall. And unemployment does not provide that stability anymore after 4 weeks. If you look for the opportunities now, your chances are better because the longer people wait, the more difficult it is going to be for individuals, because the job market, the demand for jobs will grow and grow and grow as that stability in unemployment benefit subsides in 4 weeks. So please continue to look for opportunities, jobs.utah.gov. We have seen a growth in number of employers registering for jobs with us. It is up to 26,000 jobs. So we do encourage that, and then we'll continue to monitor the trust fund throughout the rest of the year. Okay, and with that, we'll go ahead and end the briefing. Thank you.